What's the worst well-intended romantic gesture a so ever did for you? Bonus question, how did you react? We were out walking our dog and strolled past some flowers. He picked one and tried to place it behind my ear. The problem was he was also holding a bag of dog poop that was hitting against my face while he tried. My ex got my initials tattooed over his heart. He surprised me with it. I pretended to be flattered. We broke up a year later. I wonder if he still has that tattoo. In the beginning of our relationship, he went on a trip to Rome with his family. He brought back some shoes for me, a 6'1" woman. He was so excited when he handed over those, pretty nice, size 6 slippers. It was hard to break to him that I loved them, and I loved the gesture, but I am a giant and a size 10'5". My husband is such a goof but sweet, but now what I'd call romantic. He's very practical, so instead of giving me Valentine's Day presents or flowers every year, he gets the oil changed in my car and leaves a note with a Valentine's theme. Sometimes it's a card if it's February, that says oil is changed. Love you. First few years I was like, seriously, now I swoon since I don't have to deal with the oil change place. My first boyfriend gave me a wooden box with a padlock on it Christmas one year, handed me the key and told me not to open it until I got home. I opened it and inside was a little jar of his blood, and a little jar of his tears. I was 17 and mortified. Also couldn't fathom how he got enough tears to fill a small jar, so I asked him. Turns out he'd plucked all his nose hairs and eyelashes to gather them. He told me had a surprise for me for Christmas. Was wrapped beautifully and he taunted me with it for days and then finally let me open it. It was a butt plug. I cried. He went home. My ex-boyfriend surprised me and took me ice skating at Rockefeller Center for Christmas once. It was a really sweet idea, but he had said we were going to a show, so I was not dressed warmly at all. I was wearing a dress, tights, and a lighter but formal jacket, with no hat, gloves, or scarf. I was so cold after we had been on the ice for about 20 minutes that my lips turned blue and we had to leave. The thought behind it was really cute, but it would have gone so much better if I had been dressed appropriately. I love lilacs. My date tried to drive up to a bush of them on my side of the car while rolling down my window, and all of the branches just crashed through my open window, scratching me all over my face and arm. I looked messed up. He felt so bad. I laughed in the WTF was that kind of way. Oh, I also didn't know that's what he was doing, so to me it was really WTF. He have me milk plus honey by Rupi Kaur and underlined the parts that applied to our relationship, including the parts about how effed up and unhealthy it was and how we knew we needed to break up. For my birthday. He was confused when my reaction was just a lot of crying. I have a huge collection of cookie cutters because I love to bake. I kept them immaculately organized in small boxes, bags, etc., in the drawers of my kitchen island. Some had small pieces because they were things like snowflakes you cut multiple ways. Some had tiny individual letters for stamping messages. I also really have a lot of other kitchen things because I love to cook. He texted me at the start of an 8-hour barista shift that he was reorganizing our kitchen as a surprise for me and getting everything consolidated. I remember freaking out and begging him to not do it, and he was like, "No, it's good, I promise. It's too late. Don't worry." And then I got home and he had dumped all my cookie cutters into 2 huge reusable grocery bags, threw out any boxes or bags that were keeping sets and pieces together, so everything was loose and now impossible to find small bits. It was a huge disaster. I still think he threw out some actual cutters because almost 2 years later I still can't find some pieces. I cried for hours because I have been so careful over the years with my collection, and in one afternoon it all went to hell. Some of them got bent because they needed to be handled with care. He also emptied out some teas that were old, which had been favorites I rationed for bad days, that aren't made anymore. I feel bad that I went a little crazy and cried, but he just doesn't get how much he screwed up my collection that I spent years building and keeping neat. My boyfriend is an auto mechanic and he orders from Snap-on a lot. He was super excited because he ordered me something from Snap-on for me. Hyped it up so much, I was excited. It took a few months to arrive. It was 6 pairs of pink thick work socks. I started laughing because I thought it was hilarious and sweet. I was expecting like a flashlight or some cool tool for my car. Just some socks he thought I would like. I love socks but I don't like pink and they are too thick for most of my shoes. To be honest, I haven't worn them yet. I feel bad. My high school boyfriend lived next door to the morning drive time DJ on a station for country music, which I listened to sometimes back then, but he did not. Since he had no idea what I liked, he asked my mom, who is also clueless about country music. She told him one song that she knew she'd heard me singing along to, but had apparently never really listened to carefully. He had his neighbor dedicate a song to me on the radio on the morning of my birthday. It was a breakup song. For the curious, Garth Brooks' The Dance. A lot of these remind me of a story my friend told me about her first Christmas as an engaged couple living together. She wanted a new winter coat for Christmas, like that's all she wanted. They were out shopping and she found one she liked on sale and told him to get it and wrap it and be done with it. He was like, "No, I don't want you to see me buying it, that ruins the fun, plus I bet I can find a better deal." Christmas comes and she opens her gift. It's coat. Except it's her old one. He tells her to look in the pocket, she's thinking maybe it's the receipt for a new one that's being shipped. Nope. $100. He's all excited that she can pick out exactly what she wants now. My husband got me some pajamas for our first Christmas as a married couple from Victoria's Secret. One of the pajama sets had a shirt that said "single all the way." I was like, "Earm." Last year for Christmas he made me one of those cute signs that has a quote, the date of our marriage with a frame under it and the dates of our 3 children's births with frames underneath for their infant photos. Cute idea, but he overestimated the space he would need, and this FERIE huge. Like 3 feet tall and almost as wide. I have nowhere to actually hang it, and if I'm being honest, it's kind of ugly. He put a lot of work into it, which makes me feel bad. He went clothes shopping. He said, "I want to get you some shorts, because I know you need them." I said, "Please don't, because I can't always find good shorts that easily, and I want to pick them." He decided to do the grand gesture of buying me bright yellow arse cheek shorts. I don't wear yellow, and I prefer my arse cheeks covered. He bought me a beautiful pendant for our first anniversary. Unfortunately, he did not know that I'm allergic to nickel, it had just never come up, and didn't know to check on the materials used. I had the chain on for an hour when suddenly I broke out in a really bad rash. Fortunately, I had a different chain I could use to still wear the charm. Oh, this one I can do. Junior year in high school. Lunchtime. The dude I'd been dating for months has his pastor come to school and deliver a singing telegram to me, with a song he wrote about our relationship and an ask to prom. Cringe. For our first Christmas as a married couple, my husband went last-minute shopping at Costco. I ended up with pillows, towels, and granny panties. He knows I love Harry Potter, so for our first Valentine's Day together several years ago he picked out, on purpose, the ugliest, scrawniest individual flowers from the shop and had the florist put them in a bouquet. When he gave them to me, he said he thought they seemed very evil and creepy. I sometimes wonder what that poor florist was thinking when she wrapped them, and also that my fiancé clearly needs to reread the books. Funniest and ugliest shit I've ever seen though. Before we started dating he gave me a Peppa Pig toy. I was like, WTF? But I found it nice. To this day I keep it. Later in Valentine's Day, we were already together and gave another Peppa Pig toy. The first made noise, the second had lights on it. When he gave it to me, he said, "But honey, she shines." I love him. Oh man, I have a good one. Ex-boyfriend excitedly got me a t-shirt and wanted to give it to me. Followed him to the room, he was so stoked as asked me to put it on. It has a beautiful Japanese cherry blossom tree on it. Not really my style, but I thought it was cute and sweet. I put it on and proceeds to say, "I am so glad it fits. I actually got it as a gift for my ex Tiffany and she had huge boobs, so thought it might have been a little big." I immediately took it off and left. LMAO.